Good day, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to continue looking at the timeline that is not cadence, so basically the Combs and Newton and Millan timeline, sorry. So yeah, I have a little different approach though. This is going to be done in parts, and as I mentioned in my previous video, there's a lot of information out there that's screenshots and it's buried everywhere and stuff like that. So what I did is I spent a few days just scouring the Facebook groups and Reddits and gathered up any screenshot I could find that had somebody talking about the timeline on that Monday that was not cadence, because we're going to keep cadence timeline out for now. And what I found is, ChatGPT works very well with screenshots, but you have to feed them in individually and it reviews them just fine. But it's not going to grab them, out from the Facebook groups and stuff itself. So I'm working backwards here. This is a brand new chat AI. So the only information this has right now is the screenshots I've given it. And I've already ran through and looked at this because I was testing it. And it based on the screenshots alone, it's interesting because, obviously there's somebody that seemed to know there was something wrong before Noah was discovered. And just a hint, it wasn't Jack. But again, this is just based on these screenshots, and I'm going to show you what I uploaded so you can see what the information is. If there's any other screenshots that you think I should include that you know of, please let me know. I can add them. But the second part of this, after we review just based on the screenshots by people that were involved that morning, is I will go ahead and then allow it to bring in online materials, to this as well. So we'll get and then we'll see if there's any new conflicts added or resolved, anything like that. So we'll have a comparison first of just what we have in screenshots, second screenshots, and what's available online. And in the third part, I'm going to overlay cadence timeline and see how that lines up, are things, certain things resolved or more problems added. But it'd be interesting to see after we do a deep dive in this timeline, what it looks like when we overlay the other one. So I don't want to take too long with this. I come in here, this is me. I tell on the ChatGPT I have various screenshots of conversations and posts made online in regards to the Noah Presgrove case in Oklahoma. I would like to give them to you to ready and have you produce a timeline of who was where based on them and at what time. Also highlight any conflicts or inconsistencies. It says, sounds interesting. I'd be happy to help piece together a timeline. Just go ahead and upload the screenshots. I'll analyze them. I come back. I said, I have more than 10, so I'll need to upload more than once. I will tell you once they're all uploaded. They do have a limit of only 10 screenshots at a time. So it said, perfect, go ahead, start uploading. So I'll show you what ones I uploaded. What's this one? So this one here is Jack Newton. It looks like it was from the Daily Mail. And the interesting thing here, he does indicate that he was super dirty and super drunk, so a couple girls helped him in the shower. But the time line stuff. He says here the ATV record is around 3. I'm not going to read each and every line of all these, but I just want you to see what data we are working with. And this one's a Jack Newton one, again, Daily Mail. This I just grabbed it because it is a same info, but it is a different screenshot. This one was Sarah Long, and it was directed at Caden's mother, I do believe. But what was it? Trying to find what date and time was in here. Caden was home before 8:30 in the morning. Okay, that's the main gist of that one. Rennie Millan. She claims she arrived at almost 7 a.m. It takes her 40 to 45 minutes to get there, and she got a call from Jasmine between 5:45 and 6 a.m. She talks about removing guns, which still makes no sense in any way. It looks... Anyway, that's that one. What's this one? I'm Stevie says, okay, this would be Sarah Long again, I would presume. And she's saying she had to wake, I had to wake your son up in the morning, phone record, and location data plus 4 witnesses. So, I mean, I guess she seems that she has the proof. All right. Now, I think there's another screenshot of this with a little more detail, but was that the same one? Yeah. What's this one? Yeah, so this one has some timelines about truck calling in at 5:53, no on scene at 6:05. Left about 6:10 back to the house. 6:23. So there's a bunch of timeline info stuff, and this one's Sarah Long again. She says she was at the party house at 8:10, and so it doesn't need to be tucked, family. Don't think Caden's phone, 6:15. So, there's some more information. And this one is Stevie Howard. What's she saying? He missed his trip because he didn't find out until after 6 a.m. So they're talking about Jack Newton. And so that's some stuff. And they gave it this one. This is Caleb Newton. It's not hard to get dug into arguments about what didn't happen, but I was on those boys to be sure to make it that morning to fish with me and my dad. I was at home getting the boat ready when Jack called about Noah. And this one is Caleb Newton. You always have the most outlandish info I've heard. I was at home when I got the call close to 6:05. I jumped into my wife's vehicle because it was the most readily vehicle available. And Caleb again, this is a text message. He says, I was with my dad and headed to the lake when I got the call at 6 a.m. And this one, Carter Combs. She's saying she was supposed to go on the fishing trip with him and was already awake. when he woke up, because we just got back from looking for Noah. So, this is certainly, I mean, Carter Combs herself says they were out looking for Noah. So we'll put that in. Going fishing trip, yeah. Yeah, Carter Combs, 911 calls at 5:53, lots of time information stuff. Hole 515 is wrong, so that's Caden's timeline. She's saying it's wrong. I just want to mention everyone there. Jack has been the only one to take a lie detector willingly and passed. And again, I'll say, if she's saying this is a good thing, I don't know why she hasn't done one herself, just to help move things along and rule herself out. Jack didn't just walk in, tell Noah's passed away, came running in, buried his head in my bed, Noah was gone. There was something down here that was interesting. So she says, me, Logan, Avery, and Jazz, and her parents. So that would be Renee, Millan, husband, and some reports of sister and her boyfriend, but not sure. It's not mentioned in this timeline, so we'll just go with the parents. But again, this is Carter saying that after she was notified by Jack, it was her, Logan, Avery, Jazz, and the Millans outside crying and not understanding any of this. Anyway, that's a lot of timeline stuff. This one, somebody was asking Carter, do you think Noah was showered, or is that untrue? I understand if you don't want to answer, blah, blah, blah. But Carter come back and did say he was showered after he got into a side-by-side rack, and if you knew Noah, he hated being dirty before bed, and he couldn't really stand because he was drunk. That's the second time he's been referred to at this time to be drunk. So me and Jazz helped him, but it's not like what people are making out to be. We just kind of stood there and helped him stand so he didn't fall or anything. Also, he wasn't the only one that got in the shower. One of his best buddies got in with him, and they were laughing together. So all kinds of interesting information there. So we'll definitely put that in. That's the same info, different screenshots. This one's Jack Newton. The timeline info here is a reference to 4 a.m. and he walked away from the house at 3:30. And what one was that? Yeah, so then there's these three. And then I'll show you what we got for info. And this one is Brooke Carter, I believe. I know where Avery pinged and where we seen, and she was asleep. Were they out looking for him? Yeah, that one's in there. And then this is Caleb Newton's statement. It has timelines 6:30, 5:53. I don't know where he claims to be on this one. I'm not going to read it all. And this is a Caleb Newton quote as well. And at this one he says, "Wow, that may be. I don't know who your kiddos are, but I promise I was not there. Had nothing to do with the party. I was on my boat at 6 a.m. when I got the call." So anyways, those are the screenshots I was able to round up. And so basically the information I'm going to show here in a moment is based solely on these conversations and statements. So down here I said, sounds good, please go ahead and review, give me the timeline. I know some things will conflict, please highlight these issues as well. Okay, understood. So here it spit out the preliminary timeline, and it says early morning, 3 to 4 a.m., Noah Presgrove side-by-side incident. And it's from a Jack Newton message. It says, Jack mentions that Noah wrecked his side-by-side around 3 a.m. He was super dirty and super drunk and needed help with a shower provided by some friends, including Jazz and Carter, mentioned by multiple sources. Conflicting details. Some claim Noah was helped in the shower merely to stand. Others state he had a friend and laughed and showered together. The aspect seems to be a topic of controversy, with various accounts differing on who helped him and whether the shower event was appropriate or concerning. Noah walks away from the house, and it's a Jack Newton statement. Jack mentions Noah left the house at 3:30 after feeling upset when he couldn't sleep in a friend's bed. Pre-dawn, so the 5 to 6 a.m. time range. First 911 call and semi-truck driver report. Timing conflict. Carter Combs asserts the 911 call was made around 5:53 a.m. Caleb Newton's post confirms receiving the first call around 6:05. Okay, this is the 911 call is slated for 5:53. The 6:05 that this is getting confused with is when when Caleb, yes, the father, yeah, he first got the call at 6:05, but Caleb is not 911 or emergency services, so this does match with their story, so I'm not concerned about that. Caleb and his father's location. Caleb Newton states he was at home prepping a boat for an early morning fishing trip and received a call from his son around 6:05 a.m. Caleb's post on May 17th, he mentions he didn't know Noah was missing to 6:05 when he was informed of the incident. And I do ask it to expand because I know there's more here down below. This one was interesting. Avery and Sweet's involvement. Brooks' message. Avery and Sweets were searching for Noah before 6 a.m. and according to Brooke, returned home after failing to locate him. Their phones did not ping near Noah's location. Potential conflict. There is uncertainty about whether Avery was sleeping, as per Jack, or actively looking for Noah, as per Brooke. So the morning, 6 to 7 a.m., Caleb Newton and son arrive at scene. Caleb Newton's statement claims he drove to the scene with his father upon receiving the call around 6:05. He describes the presence of law enforcement, fire, and rescue teams upon arrival. Jack's statements. Jack explains he was sleeping early to prepare for a fishing trip with his father that he found Noah, seemingly contradicting his earlier timeline. Discrepancy. Jack's timeline is somewhat unclear as he seems to facilitate on his sequence of actions, mentioning both finding Noah and having prior plans for fishing. Later in the morning, 7 to 8:30 a.m., arrival of additional individuals. Sarah Long's post confirms she was at the party house by 8:10 a.m., supporting the timeline of post-event discussions. Caden's mother mentions Caden was back by 8:30, supporting Caleb's assertion of having left the scene relatively early after the first responders were active. Conflicts and observations. Shower incident confusion. Multiple versions exist regarding Noah's condition and the necessity of a shower after the ATV accident. Some describe it as helping a drunk and dirty Noah, while others interpret it as a more lighthearted or unnecessary. This discrepancy fuels suspicions in community discussions. Jack's timeline variance. Jack mentioned both going to bed early and finding Noah, which may conflict with Caleb's version of events. Jack also alternates between seeming late to know about Noah's state and claiming he was asleep for a fishing trip. This vagueness causes some question on Jack's role and timeline clarity. Pings and phone locations. Brooks' statement on phone pings conflict with Jack's belief that Avery was sleeping. This technical data could potentially clarify who is actively looking for Noah and where, adding an element of contention over who might be misrepresenting the timeline. Caleb's presence and actions. Caleb insists he was not at the party and only heard about Noah after 6 a.m., emphasizing his distance from the event. This timeline detail appears consistent with Caleb's statements, though some question whether he could have known more. I'll continue analyzing stuff. So down here I said, look, I believe I saw at least 4 statements from Caleb about where he was when he got the call from Jack. Please expand on this. I also noticed Carter and Jack came in and noticed that Carter said Jack came in and told her Noah was dead, and she went out and waited with the girls and Millans and husbands. And anyways, basically you can read this. I'm asking it to, get a little more detailed. So it says I'll dive deeper into the details, and this is the next timeline. And this is the last part I did, so I can do a quick review of this and see where we're at time-wise for this video. But so, we can review this, and then the next step would be to bring more the internet side of stuff in to see if that extra data adds any more clarity to this timeline. So that's where we're going. So let's see what the more detailed version is here. See if there's anything different. So early morning, 3 to 4 a.m. Side-by-side incident. Jack Newton claims Noah wrecked side-by-side at 3 a.m. needed help with the shower. Multiple accounts support the idea that he was assisted by friends with varying accounts of who helped him and why. Discrepancies. Some describe it as necessary help due to Noah's drunken state, while others question the necessity and appropriateness. Pre-dawn, 5 to 6 a.m. Initial notification. Renee Millan's account. Renee states her daughter called her between 5:45 and 6 a.m. and she arrived at the scene around 7 a.m. Renee's statement suggests an early awareness of the incident, potentially indicating that someone knew of Noah's condition before Jack found him. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So based on this timeline, keep in mind, in this timeline, Jack was asleep until 5:30, although interestingly enough, there was somewhere I had seen that I believe it was Jasmine that woke him up at 5 and told him Noah was missing. But that's not in any of these screenshots, so it's not being considered here. But, if Jack found him at 6:05, and Jasmine called her mother between 5:45 and 6. I mean, Jack, if he found him at 6:05, it's going to be probably 6:15 or so at least before he gets back to the house and lets everybody know. So Renee is notified 15 to 30 minutes before Noah was found. Again, this is only based on these screenshots so far. But it's interesting that, I don't know. I mean, now, as a side note, if we had cadence timeline here, the 5:15 one, this wouldn't be a factor at all. Anyway, that's an interesting one. Caleb's multiple statements on his location and time of call. So statement one, a screenshot from May 17th. Caleb said he was preparing the boat at home when he got the call from his son around 6:05. He also mentioned that he drove to the scene after receiving this call. In statement two, screenshot Caleb with dad 6 a.m. Caleb states he was with his dad heading to the lake when he got the call at 6 a.m. Statement 3, a comment on a Facebook post, Caleb says he was on his boat at 6 a.m. when he received the call. And in statement 4, another screenshot from Caleb. Caleb claims he took his wife's vehicle around 6:05 to pick up his dad and then head to the scene. Conflicts observed. Caleb provides 4 different accounts of his location and the exact time he received the call. These discrepancies make it difficult to establish exact whereabouts and actions during the early morning hours. The inconsistencies in Caleb's statements also raise questions about the timeline's reliability from his perspective. Jack's discovery of Noah and notification. Sarah's long post. Jack apparently found Noah around 6:05 and notified the group shortly afterward. However, Caleb's version, in some accounts, implies he was informed earlier, suggesting there may have been knowledge of Noah's state before Jack's official discovery. Carter's statement mentions Jack returned to the house and informed her of Noah's death, and she went outside to join other individuals, including Renee Millan and her husband. So again, Renee says she arrived on scene just before 7, but Jack was there, sometime shortly past 6:05. And when Jack left to go back to where Noah was, Carter went out and cried with Renee or Jasmine's parents and such. So I don't know. It's an interesting loop. Implications. If Jack discovered Noah at 6:05 and then went to the house to inform Carter, it raises the question of how Renee could have known about the incident before 6:05 based on her daughter's call at 5:45 to 6 a.m. This discrepancy could imply that information about Noah's death was circulating earlier than officially noted, suggesting someone may have discovered or suspected his state before Jack returned to the house. Morning, 6 to 7 a.m., arrival at the scene, response details. Caleb Newton's post, he describes arriving at the scene with his father around 6:15 to 6:30 a.m. and seeing multiple first responders already there. Additional statements. Carter claims that Jack didn't merely inform her but entered in distress, burying his head and stating Noah was gone and quickly returned to the scene. Renee Millan, in her post, insists she didn't clean up anything upon arrival, only spoke to those on scene. She also describes taking guns that were left in vehicles to prevent them from being unattended. Conflicts. Renee's arrival was roughly estimated at 7 a.m. after her daughter's call at 5:45 to 6 a.m. If Jack informed Carter and others around 6:05, it's puzzling why many would remain at the house and not be fully engaged upon Renee's arrival. Sarah Long's 8:10 a.m. statement claims she was at the party house by 8:10 a.m., waking others up. This statement is perplexing because if Carter and others already were informed of Noah's death at around 6:05, it would be unusual for individuals to still be sleeping 2 hours later. Possible interpretations. This could imply either a breakdown in communication within the house or that some individuals didn't fully grasp the gravity of Noah's situation. Alternatively, it could suggest that certain individuals, despite being informed, didn't convey the urgencies to others in the house. Key conflicts and observations: Caleb's varied accounts of location and timing. The multiple different accounts provided by Caleb make it challenging to pinpoint his exact activities and calling time. His inconsistency could indicate other confusion or attempt to control the narrative around his involvement. Early knowledge of the incident: Renee's indication of a call between 5:45 and 6 a.m. and her arrival around 7 suggests that knowledge of Noah's death may have been known before Jack's reported discovery at 6:05 a.m. This discrepancy raises questions about who might have known earlier and why there was a delay in official notification. Yeah, those are good questions. Sarah Long's reported waking of individuals at 8:10. The fact that people reported still asleep at 8:10 despite earlier notification adds an odd element to the timeline. If multiple people knew of Noah's death, it would seem natural for everyone to be awake and processing the event rather than sleeping. Jack's conflicted statements. Jack alternates between stating he went to bed early for fishing and mentioning he found Noah sorry about that. Where was I? Okay, Jack alternates between stating he went to bed early for fishing and mentioning he found Noah, suggesting a lack of clarity in his recounting. His statements regarding the discovery and subsequent notification to Carter and others didn't fully align with Caleb's descriptions or the sequence provided by other witnesses. Potential issue with Jasmine's knowledge. If Renee knew of Noah's death at 5:45 to 6 a.m., it raises the question of whether Jasmine was informed ahead of Jack's official discovery and return to the house. This could suggest a breakdown in who knew what when, indicating possible information sharing outside the primary group. Conclusion and next steps, and this is the end of it. This expanded timeline reveals several key points of inconsistency that could benefit from further scrutiny. Caleb's varying accounts of his location and time of call, time of Jack's notifications versus Renee's awareness of the incident, Sarah Long's mention of people still sleeping at 8:10, which is unusual given the seriousness of the situation. The inconsistencies hint at either miscommunication among witnesses or potential discrepancies in witness accounts. Let me know if you'd like to explore any particular statement or verify potential conflicts. So, that was quite a little mouthful. But, again, this is based just on the screenshots that I showed you. I do think I'm going to leave this one here for now. My next video, I will start by bringing this online data in and see what, any new findings or additions to this timeline. That being said, that's going to probably be a day or two from now. So if you have any questions that you want me to type in here based on this information, leave them in a comment and I will toss them in at the start of the next video for if you're interested in seeing any particular question asked. But again, this is just how I'm going to work the timeline. So right now, I've done step one. This is just based on the screenshots of conversations where people given time information. Next step, we will bring in information from online as well and see where we are. And then step three is I'm going to overlay cadence timeline into all this and see if that helps resolve more things than it breaks, or basically how things line up based on the 515 account. So if you're interested and want to see more, just let me know. I will do my next video there in a day or two, I'm sure. And if there's any questions, post it. I will ask them when I start that one. Anyways, thanks a lot for joining. Hopefully some of this was of interest to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.